From the Digital Media Center on the campus of Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon. This is Ramping Up Your English, an educational program for intermediate level English language learners. Here's your host for Ramping Up Your English, John Letts.
Welcome to Ramping Up Your English. Ramping Up Your English is an instructional support program for intermediate level English learners. If you've already passed the beginning stages of learning English and you want to reach higher levels of English proficiency, this program is designed to meet your needs and get you closer to your goal. Ramping Up Your English is for English learners from all language backgrounds and for people of all ages. We take a content-based approach to helping you reach higher levels of English proficiency. Our current thematic unit is Native Americans. This is segment 1 of episode 88. This is our 10th episode of our current unit on Native Americans. So far, each episode has been about Native American life before contact with Europeans. In this, we have gone into far more detail than the average class in most schools about this subject. Some courses you may encounter will start with European contact, ignoring all the rich history Native Americans and their lives that stretch back thousands of years. Now, we have come this far in our study with very little support in unit vocabulary. Let's see how many of these terms you've figured out on your own. We may also clarify some words of which you're unsure. Now, you may have heard the use of some of these names for groups. Clans. These are groups, often small groups, of people kin to each other, extended family or groups of families. In some cultures, it's critical to know the clan to which a member belongs, as one must marry someone from a different clan. There are very good genetic reasons for this. Tribe. This is the most common term used for groups of Native Americans. Tribes can be small or large. This grouping is often made up of different clans. A tribe would contain people who share many of the same values and the same way of living, as well as the same language. A tribe often refers to people who live in a certain place, but some tribes range over vast territory, sometimes to areas that are claimed by other tribes. Band. Band is a small group within a larger tribe. Sometimes a band lives in a certain area exclusive to the band, yet within the larger area of the tribes. Now, bands often unite for tribal ceremonies or occasions, but then return to their same area. Nation. Native American groups were often growing or shrinking in size, sometimes growing in population to control a great amount of territory. These large groups are often called nations. All Native groups and their members in Canada are called First Nations. The term has legal ramifications when dealing with other governments. An important term in the study of Native Americans and important theme in social studies is migration. Now, migration means movement. The earliest Americans migrated to the continents of North and South America. There's no evidence of humans evolving from other life forms in the Americas. There was also a great amount of movement by some groups as ice sheets melted and made more land available for settling. Some migration occurred in order to adapt to climate change or because of conflicts with other groups. When the term epic is added to migration, it indicates a migration of great size and sometimes over generations of time. There are several words that refer to leadership in groups of Native Americans. By far the most common in the United States is the term chief. Now, from a European perspective, groups of people needed leaders, and those leaders exerted power over the people in a hierarchical system. When Europeans encountered people already living in America, they assumed that Native Americans in a position of leadership led their group through coercion and threat of force. The leadership of most American groups, Native American groups, was usually held by those who demonstrated concern for the well-being of the group, and they led through example. The word chief was often misunderstood to mean a single person exercising control over members of the group. Now, the word leader would be most accurate for most Native Americans. Now, this would be a person who led by example, but this person would not necessarily be making decisions for the whole group by himself. The collective word council refers to a group of decision makers in a group or band. Terms such as sachem refers to indigenous leaders, at times being the leader of both the government and the religion. Now, speaking of religion, the word priest, let me do something real quick here so that you get to see the whole slide, okay? The word priest is used to name a person who carries out religious rituals, usually in larger and more concentrated groups. In those cases, a priest would have great power over the community. The word shaman is a complex one. A shaman is a healer, but also involved with keeping practices of the community in balance with natural forces. A shaman was also a source of spiritual advice and influence. Shamans were highly accountable for the way they lived and used their power. By the way, most of the music we use in this unit is shamanic music, designed to engage deeply with emotions of listeners. So now you hear us use these terms, you may have a better idea of what we mean by them. As you can tell, some are not easily defined and some are widely misunderstood. We'll do more vocabulary work in subsequent episodes. Seeking understanding is the main work of studying. Fortunately, there are various ways of doing that. Native Americans sought to understand the world around them through various means, including the sharing of stories. We also turn to stories in our quest for understanding the first Americans, who populated both American continents and continue to live here. We've been sharing some of the stories from a book entitled Indian Tales by Jaime de Angulo. In the last installment, we joined the Bear family on the second day of their journey to visit relatives near the coast. Now, this collection of tales was written by de Angulo, who spent 40 years living among the Pitt River Indians of Northern California. He took pains to have his tales reflect the truth of these people with which he spent so much of his life. When we left off, Fox, little boy, learned that people must sing for their shadow when traveling, so the shadow comes home to its owner in the morning. His mother explains that no one can live without their shadow. Now let's follow the family of bear, antelope, fox, and baby quail as they visit the Hawk people. We'll see what we can learn about the beliefs and attitudes of the Pitt River tribe through this tale. The next afternoon, they reached the village of the Hawks. "Where is the house of the chief?" "Over there, right there. That's their house. The two Hawk chiefs, Big Blue Hawk and Little Sparrow Hawk. They are the chiefs of this place." "Hawk Chief, Hawk Chief." "Well, what do you want? Why do you make so much noise? The door's on the east side." "Don't speak that way," said Blue Hawk to Sparrow Hawk. "You're too rough. Haven't you got any manners? How'd you know but that these people are important people come to visit us, and you treat them rough like that? Come in, go around. You people aren't used to our country. We don't come and go out through the smoke hole here. We have a door. Go right around the east side. Come right in." But the Sparrow Hawk had already flown out. He went out through his own door. He had a hole in the side of the wall by the side of the big door, a door all for himself, just his size. He went out. He was mad. He flew out into the night. "Come right in," said Blue Hawk.
They went in, Bear and Antelope, stooping under the lintel of the doorway, and Fox stooping too. They all sat around the fire, and Antelope was unpacking the baby quail. All the hawk people came in one by one and sat on their heels around the wall. Then Blue Hawk Chief spoke. "You are welcome here. You've come a long way. You are welcome." We didn't know where the door was. Our people have the door on the side. Maybe your people have the smoke hole for a door. That's a good way, too. But somebody spoke about another door. Oh, that's my older brother. That's Sparrowhawk. Don't pay any attention to him. He is a bad one. He is a mean one. That's his door there. You can see that little door there? You see it? Well, that's his door. Can't come in through the main door like everyone else. Must have his own little door. He never grew up. I don't know why. Some people say it's because he had the ha-has when he was a little boy. They say it keeps him from growing up properly. I don't know. It's possible. I remember he used to cry and yowl and stomp his foot and say, "I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to." Just like that. Seems that's the way they sing when they've got the bad case of the ha-has. Anyway, he never grew up, stayed small and mean. But here he comes. I hear him. Listen. And out of the night they heard his song, coming nearer and nearer. "Ya, ya, henne, ya, ya, henne." They all looked toward the small hole by the side of the main door. Sparrowhawk flew in, making a zigzag and a loop, and then stood above their heads, flapping his wings. Then he alighted in the cleared space in the front of the fire and said, "Hello." "Hello yourself," said Fox Boy, and he roared with laughter. "I want to play with that little boy. I like him." Everybody roared with laughter. Sparrowhawk cried, "All right, I'll play with you. Come on." "Watch out, boy, watch out. He is hard to handle. He is spoiled. But if you want to keep him for a pet, you can have him. We won't miss him." The Fox Boy then grabbed the Sparrowhawk, and they had a lively tussle on the floor, almost rolled into the fire. Fox gave a yell and let the hawk loose. The hawk had bitten him on the thumb. Fox cried, "I don't want him for a pet. You can keep him." The Sparrowhawk flew out through his own little door, and they could hear his war song diminishing in the night. Fox Boy was nursing his thumb. All the hawk people were rocking with laughter. Blue Hawk was laughing too. He cried, "Let him go. You are not losing much of a pet. I sort of thought you couldn't handle him. He may be small, but he is hard to handle." Now the hawk people were settling for the night, choosing places for themselves here and there around the wall of the house. Bear picked up his pack and started for the door. "Where are you going?" asked the Blue Hawk Chief. "Oh, I'm going out to look for a place for us to sleep." "No, you don't have to do that. Sleep right here with us. Plenty of room. Make your bed here inside, anywhere. I see you have a rabbit skin blanket. How do you make those blankets?" "Oh, it's easy," said Antelope. "It's not much of a trial. It only takes patience and a lot of rabbits. About 200 rabbits. Cut the skins in long strips, then twist them. That makes the fur stick out. Then weave the strips together. That's all." "Well, well," said Blue Hawk Chief, "you are a clever people." "And I helped my mother twist the strings," said Fox Boy proudly. "Well, well, you did. And did you catch the rabbits too?" "Nope," said Fox. "They won't keep still." All the hawks roared with laughter, and Fox Boy laughed with everybody. And now they were settling themselves for the night. Blue Hawk called, Fire tender, where are you? Poke that fire, put some twigs to burn, and give us light to make our beds."